Recently, I was studying online for a different message, trying to prepare for that message. And I was doing some internet searches about the different aspects of God, like God's abundance, God's power, God's goodness, all of these different aspects of our God. And during that search, the thought for this message came to me, because no matter what the topic was about God that I looked up online, it seemed like the search results were always how that affects us. God's goodness, God's love, God's abundance, God's power. Each one of these that I searched for always was used to talk about how it relates to us. That got me thinking about giving. This is something that I've thought about for a long time. So much of what we call the prosperity gospel today tells us to give in order to receive. So if they say, if you're having financial difficulties, give more. If you're having health problems, give more. As if God is able to be paid off or bought. And they use scriptures like, give and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaking together, and running over, to illustrate their point here. But it doesn't say, the scripture doesn't say, give because it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. It says, give and it will be given to you. So you have to give because you want to give and because God deserves it. If you give from a pure heart of giving, then it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So it all comes to the motive. And so I was thinking about all of these searches that I was doing, and it's the same thing. People are thinking about how God relates to them, how He can help them. And of course God does help us, He does guide us, and strengthens us, and He heals us, He provides for us, He does all of these things. But we have to think about it differently. We have to refocus, because we need to seek God and seek to understand Him and to know Him better, because He is God and He deserves our attention. We need to worship Him because He is God and He deserves our worship. We need to talk to Him because He is God and He deserves for us to communicate with Him. We can't seek Him for our own purpose. We can't seek Him for what He can do for us. We don't need to worship Him for what He will do in return. We shouldn't talk to Him to only ask Him for things that we want or need. So we need to focus on God for God. And when we do that, the blessings will flow. Because Jesus said, seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all of these things will be added unto you. So seek first God. God, for God. Not for you, not for what He can do for you or anything, but you seek God for God, because He deserves to be sought. And then everything else will be added unto you. It's the same concept of the giving. You give because He is God and He deserves it. And when you give from that perspective, from that viewpoint, then it will be given back to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. So this society is all, it seems like it's all about me. What can this do for me? How can this help me? How will this affect me? And that has to change. And the more I thought about it, the more, I came to realize I don't know that I've ever listened to a service that just talked and taught about God for who He is, what He is. It always comes back to talking about God for what He can do for us, or what He has done for us. So I think we really need to shift our focus from a people that are looking for ourselves. We're seeking for our own good, for our own benefit, instead of looking and seeking and reading and praying and worshiping God for God, without any ulterior motives, without any thought of self. That's what He wants. That's what He deserves. So let's just think about that. Think about how you can seek God, pray to God, worship God, learn of God for God. Not for you, not for your family, not for your situation, but just because He is. Just give it a thought.